Hi, I'm Rob Cram, and today we're going to take a look at London 2012 from SEGA. The Olympics are coming to London in the next couple of weeks, so this game should be right on the money. Let's take a look at the review. SEGA brings all the excitement, spectacle and grandeur of the 2012 Olympic Games to gamers in the official game of the London 2012 event. It won't be the first time the Olympics have headed to consoles, but is this latest effort, developed in-house by SEGA Studios, the definitive rendition of one of the planet's most respected and popular sporting events. The key to having a successful sports game of this nature, aside from getting the atmosphere just right, is providing enough varied events to make the game stand out from simply being an exercise in rigorous button mashing. Luckily, SEGA have delivered some of the more notable traditional events, but such is the broad nature of the Olympics that it would be impossible to have them all, or please everyone with the selections that are chosen. London 2012 features a traditional selection of events ranging from a number, but not all, track and field events, notably ditching long distance running and triathlon. Swimming, shooting, cycling, table tennis, volleyball, some gymnastics and rather oddly the K1 kayak feature. There's a huge list of likely omissions such as football and judo, but what is on offer does provide a fair bit of variation. SEGA have cleverly interwoven some fresh controls for many events, where precision and control take precedence over the hammering of buttons, making for a more skillful game and works in its favour. Sadly, a number of the controls are mirrored across several events, which points to a lack of imagination and tactical deployment of similar events to boost the numbers. There's little to no difference between the 200 metres and 400 metre events, for example. Aside from embarking on each event individually to obtain gold medals and possibly break some records in the process, there's the option to team up in co-op across some events, or go head-to-head using one of the many countries represented. The game is much more engaging with more than one player locally, and with things like a party mode thrown in, is very much an indication of the game's true intent. There's an Olympic event mode which provides the full experience, although players are limited to choosing 2 disciplines per day to compete in over the course of the event duration. London 2012 has nailed the atmosphere with impressive renditions of the stadium in Stratford as well as the smaller surrounding venues. The pre-start amble of the athletes is good and favours a TV-style presentation that's as focused as the real thing. The character models look good, animate well, and can even be customised a little bit for some variety. The audio is surprisingly good, with the standard audience ambience being spot on, as well as the sounds of the athletes themselves. However, the commentary, which often lets sports games down, seems to be equally polished, offering several male and female commentators for various events. Whilst there will always be repetition, the variety and placement of the comments feels quite natural. London 2012 offers fairly simplistic gameplay, which doesn't take long to learn, but perhaps takes a bit longer to master. It won't take players long to plough through all of the events, but that loses the point of obtaining gold in every discipline, or even entering the record books as an incentive to carry on playing, as well as challenging other players. As mentioned, the onus lies in its multiplayer offering, which is concise and easy for players to jump in, whether using controllers or Kinect. There's even an online mode for up to 8 players, which is great for opening up the competition to the wider field. Much like any sports game, players really have to be fans of the sport, otherwise something gets lost. Although in its own right, London 2012 is easily enough for most gamers to pick up and play. Sadly, a true lack of many of the more interesting events and some overused controls lead to a game that's not so different to the previous Olympic offering. As a bit of light entertainment for people who want to recreate the atmosphere and flavour of the event beyond the real televised deal, this is as good as it gets and is worth picking up. Anyone else will find an entertaining game that's perhaps lacking in long-lasting appeal, and therefore should rank first. London 2012 scores a 7 out of 10.
That's a decent shot, 7 points.